So what's up, dog? What's up?
Chilling, chilling. What's good with
How
you,
you
man?
been, dog?
I've been alright, and you?
Good, 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 good. I had went on my little getaway.
How was that? How
It was
was
good.
it?
I don't know if you can see. I got a new hole in my face. I don't know if you can see it from.
Oh,
Can people see
snaps!
it?
Oh,
Oh
okay.
man, but does that come with a story? That sounds cool. So we thought we was gonna do some. We thought we was doing some cute shit, right? It was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, let's get piercings together. We had talked about doing this a little while ago, so I was like, let's get piercings together. Now, theoretical, I was down, but when the moment started coming, and as my wife had booked it, I was like, damn, I'm scared of needles. And I'm legitimately scared. Like, I have a fear of needles, so I don't like
Uh,
getting blood tests, but I got to do it for my health. This
right,
I don't got to do for my health, so it put it in a weird place. So we went to this we went to this place, right? And because of COVID, you can't just like go in. You got to
right.
stand online, get your appointment, and then come back for your appointment. So we stood online for like 40 minutes because everybody's going to this one spot.
Okay.
And we had our appointment after standing online like 30 minutes, which was fine. So my wife and I was like, who's going to go first? I'm like, I should go first because I'm going to
Yes.
chicken out. But
Right.
no,
Exactly.
because she was first in line, they put her appointment first. So she went first. But she came out
Okay.
so quick. She was like, it's nothing. And I'm like, nah, that's too confident. That's too confident. So boom, boom, right? I go
Mm-hmm.
in. Everybody's nice. The dude is nice. Big white dude. He's like, yeah. He was like, I just did your wife, bro. She said you scared. Don't worry about it. I got you. I'm gonna walk you through every step. He didn't really show me anything. I'm glad he didn't show me like the saber that he used or anything. But he was like, lay back. He was like, I got you. I'm gonna tell you every step. He was like, I'm gonna put the needle near your nose, this, that, and third, and then I'm gonna tell you to breathe in. So I breathe in, and I feel I mean, the pain was pretty sharp. It was sharp, but it was quick, right? It
Uh-huh.
was definitely not like getting your blood drawn because that's
Right.
like a little pinch. This is a bigger pinch, but I'm like,
Right.
sure, sure. All right, I didn't even get to the most embarrassing part. So I went through all this,
You
got
shit your pants?
not. So he did it. Boom. He put it in everything. I felt all the twists. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. So he gave me the tissue because my eyes is
You out here
I
crying,
like
yo?
cry freedom, dog. I was like Kunta Kinte on the tree up. But check this out, right? So
Uh,
I get outside and my wife, we're talking about our experiences. And I was like, did he give you a tissue? She was like, I didn't tear up. I was damn. I mean, granted, so I had to rationalize. I was like, well, she gave birth to 4 children. So, like the
right.
pain, she used to it. She used to it. She had an ear pierced and all that. Like
Oh
but
my
wait,
god.
here it goes. This is where it gets worse, right? So boom, we thinking we cute. I'm like, I'm Pac. I'm in
Yeah.
the car. I'm like, yeah, I got. Like, I'm driving too, so I'm feeling myself. I'm like, yeah, yeah. I wish a nigga would. Thug life, thug life.
Oh my god, that's hilarious, man.
So we get to the hotel. We doing our regular normal day stuff, and I'm looking at hers, and I'm like, yo, yours is so bright and shiny. I feel like they gave you a bigger one. And I'm like, I
Uh,
feel like mine is so small. So I'm like, why does mine seem so small? But they had put like a brown dot to like where they're gonna aim it. So I'm like, well, maybe it's because
right.
it's the brown dot. I need to wipe it away. So boom, as the day goes by, mine seemed mentally like it's getting smaller. I go to sleep that night, dog. I wake up and my wife was like, "Do you feel your nose ring?" I'm like, yeah, like there's a hole in my face. I feel it. She was like, "Could you go in the bathroom and tell me if you see it?" So I go into the bathroom and I could not see the nose ring. So I had to push up, right? And
Uh,
then the nose ring pops out of a little piece of skin like Pikachu. So through the night, the my nose ring had descended into my face and started to heal over. So boom,
oh.
and it keeps falling down. So I'm like, yo, this is messing up our day. We got a whole day planned. I had to wedge a piece of tissue in my nose, dog. No lie, to keep it up because I'm like, yo, if it stays in. Now this is the crazy part. That night I didn't sleep well. I
Uh-huh.
literally had a dream that my nose ring was sticking me in my mouth. In my dream, this is what was happening. And so I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So we called the piercing place, and they was like, "Oh, okay, we just have to have you come in." But there was a different girl at the front, so she was like, "Yeah, it's first come, first serve, so you gonna have to stand online." And my wife is like livid. She's like, "Listen, we're just coming. We're just coming." So we go, and there's again around the 12 o'clock time. There's a line of 10 people. We like, "Are you gonna stand online?" I'm like, "Yo, I just need them to fix my face. I'm not trying to rebel rouse, but if you go in, I'm gonna go in." So we both just walked in. The girl was like, excuse me, you can't just walk in. We like, hello, they need to fix something with my face. Like my nose ring is descended, blah, blah, blah. But the guy who pierced me was right there. He doesn't work at the front. Long story short, they end up just calling us back in to say, hey, come on, we're going to take care of it. Apparently, my nose swells so much, and I got a lot of nose meat. Apparently,
Yeah, I can't stand
from I don't know if this is the circumference or the diameter or radius of my nose, but from top to bottom, my nose is larger and it's swole. So it swole so much it brought the nose ring down. So they had to give me a new nose ring. Now the whole time I'm still worried about it before we get there because I'm like, babe, I think they're gonna have to pierce me again.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, stop worrying about it. They just gonna put the thing in and take a new one and put it in. And this is what we having over breakfast. I'm like, okay, all right, you may be right. I get there. It's another dude. I'm like, dog, you gonna have to pierce me again? He was like, probably. I was like, yeah. So then it was like even worse because they had to take that one out. So he had tools to take that one out. He had ointment it up and do all this. And then he had to put a new one in, but he had to pierce it again, put the new one in. And then like it was a new one with a twist top. And I'm like, damn. I felt all of it. Cry freedom again.
That's what I was going to say. Did you cry again?
The worst part is when he was like, yeah, I got tissues for you, dog. I'm like, oh, man. People out there just got their headphones on and they getting fully tattooed. And this is at that moment I'm like, babe, I don't think I can get a tattoo. Cause if that's the constant feeling of just getting that stabbing, then it's not for me. I'm gonna be an ink-free dude. But I'm happy. I got my Tupac going.
Like
got my Tupac going.
Okay,
but
Pac.
dog.
All right, see, what you need to do is go get a J tattoo. A simple line J.
Just a simple boom.
Yeah. And
lettering is not bad. No pictures. I can't do no pictures.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like doing something on my arm, like I don't know.
A line. You could just get a line.
That's it.
I'm telling you. Go back for like an arrow or something.
Man. But it was a good weekend. The kids were home with the godparents and everything. They came over and stayed with the kids. So we plan to do it again because it was something that we were supposed to have been doing, like, going out on dates and stuff like that. And you just end up forgetting to do that stuff, and it's like you want to do it, but we made it happen, and it happened. And I have a hole in my face now.
All right, I'm proud of you.
I joined the team, dog. I wanted an earring from when I was younger. From when I was like 13, I had wanted an earring. Never got it. I have no earrings.
Really?
This is the
Are
first
you
thing.
serious?
First thing, no earrings, nothing, dog. This is the first time.
I got 2 holes, 4th grade and 8th grade.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm 30 something. And look at that. I'm out here. It's like midlife crisis and like third life crisis.
You about to pull up in the Corvette?
Yo. Nah, a Tesla.
All right, Tesla. You right.
Man. So how was your weekend, dog?
It was good. Relax. I mean, I ain't getting no nose piercing, but it sounds like the thing to do now.
I know, right? So I think we should add something new. What you been watching?
What I've been watching. You wouldn't even believe me.
Go.
I'm rewatching The Wire.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just got the second season 2 today.
Those are good seasons.
Yeah.
Those are really good seasons.
Also, started watching All American.
I heard that was good. I watched like the first episode. I didn't really get into it. No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like it was something that I wouldn't watch.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's on CW, I guess.
It is on CW, and they have it on Netflix now.
Netflix.
It's a big show, though.
I'm watching it on Netflix.
People love that show.
But I was just talking about, what's the irony is that, so with The Wire, McNulty and Idris Elba, they're both English from, England. And so was the lead from All American.
No, he's not.
Yes, he
So
is.
he's not. Yo, I didn't even know. I didn't even know that dude was English until I watched the Five Bloods, and I was watching behind the scenes of the Five Bloods. The dude, the black cop, right? That's what you talk. Oh no.
You talk about
Oh, you.
Lester?
Yes, I'm talking about that dude. He's on the wire too. But
Yeah.
I didn't even know that dude was English either.
Yeah. That's crazy, right?
McNulty's the white dude. Okay, now I remember. But
Yeah.
yeah, they be surprising, dog.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean,
He
got a
really
bunch
good,
of Chadwick Bosemans.
right?
Yeah.
So you've been watching All American. I just recently watched, which is kind of shameful, Dunkirk.
Okay.
I brought it on
How'd you
Blu-ray.
like it?
Dog, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing Christopher Nolan film. I mean, like
Cinematically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story is the story. Like
Right.
it's the historical story. It's just how he tells that story, and it was interesting because I guess you don't consider it. It's definitely not chronological in a way because he
Right.
kind of takes you to a point and then
Brings you back.
diverts back and then
Mhm.
brings you further. And I actually like that. But the music, I thought that was like the most significant. The music, and I was watching all the special features, and they were talking about how they actually normally you have the musical pieces, and he doesn't like to cut to the he likes to cut to the music, but this time
Right.
because they needed it to meet up exactly at every point, they had to like develop the music at the same time so that it can
Right.
go together. And I was like, yo, I feel it because the music literally keeps the tempo of everything from the beginning. And I was like, does this feel like a time clock? And then obviously he explains that it feels like a time clock.
Because they were saying it's the shortest script he ever had, right? And it's his longest movie because most of it is like it's less than half the movie is dialogue.
Yes.
The rest of it is all the music and carrying.
It's barely any dialogue. It's really just about the. So I mean, if he's writing out these scenes, I don't know how detailed he's writing out these scenes, but
Right.
what they did to make it real, and them filming actually on the same beach, and what they put together to make that movie was crazy. Putting IMAX cameras on old planes and stuff like that. That's like,
Right.
wow. Only certain people could do that. Well, they like allow you and trust you to do stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I've been watching.
I'm gonna go check it out again.
I enjoyed it. I bought it on DVD. It was $10 at Best Buy. I thought it was worth it. Let's start the show. I'm no Justin, no Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And we are the Loose Cannons Podcast because we sit down and we fire off our opinions on today's pop culture.
What else?
Politics.
What else?
Movies and TV and how they all intersect. And oh, baby, do we have a good episode for you guys.
Oh, we sure do.
Episode 62.
Okay. 62?
62, dog. 62.
All right. I believe it. Okay.
All right, so
had a lot going on. A lot.
a lot going on, dog.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been dealing with it because I was on a Zoom call with my daughter's school, and they were talking about the returning to school stuff. So
have they decided for y'all?
They've decided. So initially they decided twice. Initially it was going to be a hybrid model.
Hybrid. Mm-hmm.
2 days and then be the rest at home. Apparently, because in Brockton in particular, our numbers have gone up. They were like, nah, dog, everybody gonna be home. So it's all. And my daughter, she wanted to go back to school. She wanted to be with her friends, but I think even that's going to be very different. Like even if they were to go back to school, I don't think it would be like she assumes it would be. You know, you're not going to be able to connect and be near each other and hang out and stuff like that.
Well, what grade is she in?
She's going to the 7th grade.
Yeah, but my son's going to the 8th. So
wow.
Yeah, he was just like, he was like, yeah, I want to go back. I'm ready. I was like,
high school next year, dog.
Yeah.
Ooh, woo. All right, so so they're doing the full Zoom, and my daughter, my second daughter, she's 5 now, so she's starting school in September. This is going to be kindergarten. And we were like, there's no way they can do remote for her. They're doing remote. So now we got to figure it out. Like, I mean, constantly she's on iPads and in phones. So it's like electronics is not crazy to her, but learning from Zoom is totally going to be different for her. So it's really taking her through this process of figuring out learning through Zoom.
So
But
are they trying to figure out what the plans are gonna be? And I mean, I know that with our district, they're trying to figure out like what devices for kids who don't have devices and so on and so forth.
that's what they said. I mean, you have access to computers if you need it. My daughter already had a computer, but not the younger one. So I don't
Right.
know if I'm gonna get her a computer, see what the district is going to have. But it's really just about now. I need to set up a space for her because my oldest daughter, she has her room with her desk and stuff like that. But setting up a space for the 5-year olds so that they can get their work done.
Right.
This is, I mean, because kindergarten is crucial. It's crucial for the socialization, but it's crucial for reading and all those different things. So this is going to be really, really different. So like I'm trying to.
She's going to be sitting down there right next to you.
That's exactly it. I was like, there's gonna be a third member of the Loose Cannons podcast, right? With a desk right there, you just gonna hear like I don't know Gullah Gullah's Island in the back.
But our first executive producer.
Right. Man, oh man. But yeah, like this, I think a lot of states are going to be doing this.
They have to.
This is going to be. I don't think anybody. Well, they're saying that they're going back to the hybrid model is going to be 2 months after that. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. But the one thing apparently, like with our district, what they were doing was a smaller version of the regular curriculum when everything with COVID happened. But now they're going to like the full curriculum, so they're going to have like a full days of work. All their classes. This is, I mean, it is what it is. It's probably going to work out for a lot of people, but I'm just glad that I'm in the position of
being able to be home.
Being able to be home, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine people who have to figure this out. Like, this is a big life change for a lot of people. If you were both working 9 to 5s or daytime jobs, what are you going to do?
Or just being someplace where you ain't got family or friends or something,
A lot of these places are building alternative centers, which I was thinking about doing. Is like having a place where kids can come and do their Zoom stuff, and just keeping an eye on them because parents still got to go to work. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the internet. A lot of learning going on the internet, and there's a lot of music videos that are coming out on the internet. This music video was big, and this song, WAP, WAP, which is an acronym, ladies and gentlemen. If your children are in the room, just send them on out the room. This is not the segment for them. But WAP, which stands for wet ass pussy. Okay.
Oh, all right. Okay.
That is the clinical definition by Cardi B of their song.
Wow, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So now there was a lot of things going on around this whole video. Like I watched.
Did you see the Ben Shapiro doing the?
I was watching somebody else's thing, and they brought it up of Ben Shapiro spitting the rap lyrics, and I was like, well, if anybody if they want to destroy music, just have people like him repeat the songs.
Right.
Because then all the cool factor goes away. All the cool factor goes away. But here's the big debate. Is WAP so vulgar that it's just gonna destroy our children? Because that's like the whole thing. Everybody's like, oh, Cardi B is, so sexual and it's disgusting and it's horrible for our women and our girls and this. Do you subscribe to that ideology?
Oh man, I believe that everyone's entitled to their own opinion, whatever they want to do. I mean, if you feel like you can't influence your child enough to make them be respectful and raised in good light, you shouldn't have no child. Like if you're too worried about the external influences, like you not a strong enough internal influence. That's it. At the end of the day,
I agree, but I mean, there are outside influences. Like,
there are.
music does have, somewhat of it can introduce you to things that maybe you didn't want your children to be introduced to, but so early. But the solution to that is controlling their consumption.
Right.
Like I don't believe that my daughter has seen the WAP video. I
Right.
don't believe, but I also don't believe that all of the things that I've instilled in her is just going to go out the door
Right. Exactly.
with one music video. But I do believe two things can be true. This is the only thing that I don't like about the argument. I'm totally down with Meg Thee Stallion and WAP and Cardi B talking about whatever they want. They can talk about whatever body part they want. They can show whatever body part they want. They can make whatever music video they want. But I personally feel that people taking up this song as some form of liberation of women, I think that is just ridiculous. Like, there's two things that can be true. Women should be able to say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and men have done it. But men have done it also with repercussions and people expressing their disdain of it. People act like just because Luke had super sexual songs doesn't mean that people didn't have problems with it. The man went to court. There were issues with it.
Right.
Black people, black parents hated what Luke was doing. They didn't want their kids involved in it. Let's stop acting like there wasn't roadblocks and people didn't have issues with it. They're not just having issues with WAP because it's women saying it. They're having the same issues they had with other music.
Right.
It's now, is WAP overly vulgar? It is super vulgar. It's super, super vulgar. But sometimes that shit is necessary. Like, situationally, WAP is a good situational song.
It gives range.
It gives
range. It pushes the limit.
Quick question: what's your favorite vulgar song?
Oh, gosh, man, I don't know. You tell me first, and let me think about it.
This one verse stays in my head from DMX.
Ooh, okay.
You really can't play it with, like, I couldn't play it with my mother. I got blood on my hands and there's no remorse. I got blood on my dick because I fucked the corpse. I'm a nasty nigga. When you pass me, nigga, look me in my eye. Tell me to my fucking face that you ready to die.
Okay.
You be a dead motherfucker, Rip. Yo,
Don't be stupid. You heard what I said, motherfucker.
Who shot you?
Okay.
Yo,
okay.
Crazy. Yeah. Listen, crazy. And if you listen to any R. Kelly, then you have a plethora of vulgar things to go through.
Right.
Now, some things were weaved in and out of vulgarness, and they were, left to the imagination. But they got a right to do it. But people also have a right to say what they want to say about it. Like, I have a problem with people like, you shouldn't say nothing about it. You shouldn't say nothing about it because you're a man, and you didn't say nothing about the men who were writing all these horrible lyrics about misogyny. It's like, you can't. If you are going to be the one to say that this is sexual liberation, then you got to be including all the other men, because if that's their sexuality, fucking bitches. That's how they want to express their sexual nature. So I just want people who make a hard stance, a hard line stance, to stay consistent on this matter.
Have you ever had this issue growing up? Like, what was your first experience hearing something and then realizing your parents didn't want you to hear something?
I kind of had it. I feel like I had it a little bit easier. One, because
you have an older brother, right?
I have an older brother.
Right.
So he probably fought the battles for me.
Right.
Two, I think my mother was fine with me listening to music and probably watching violence, but she wasn't fine with me repeating it.
Right, exactly.
and repeating it situationally. Like if your mother has friends over, you shouldn't be like, I got blood on my like you shouldn't be
Yeah.
into the moment to where, situationally you know how to handle yourself and you know what to put on and what not to put on. I don't think that she was oblivious that I was listening to curses or anything like that.
Right.
And I think that's the kind of stance that I want to take with my daughter is like, I'm pretty sure she listened to the stuff with curses, but
Right.
like, you need to know that that's not how you should speak consistently. That's not how you
Right.
should
Right.
speak when certain people are around. That's not how you should speak in certain situations. And then in that case, I'm totally fine with it. But it's important that kids get that balance, and I feel like I received that balance of
Right.
all types of art, all types of expression. And if all you
Um.
listening to is WAP, then yes, we do have a problem. If all you
Right.
listening to is Cardi B and the City Girls, then yes, we do have a problem. You need to be introduced into some other things. But
Yeah, I remember my first. So we grew up in the compact disc age
uh huh.
when they first came out. So
Mm-hmm.
my first CD, I got two CDs for my birthday. I was fifth or sixth
That
grade.
used to be a gift, dog. A
Right.
CD, a DVD
Yeah.
was a gift.
So I got Ready to Die, Biggie
Ooh.
Smalls,
Yep.
and I got Mary J. Blige's Mary J. Blige,
Yep.
her first album. So after I was done listening to Biggie's Ready to Die, I just remember they came and took the CD and all I got.
You enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I was
EJ.
out there. And I remember but they gave it to me like a couple months later.
Yeah.
Like, all right, here you can have it.
Yeah.
But then, I done memorized all of Mary J. Blige's album already.
Yeah.
So I was out there. I'm going down and everything.
Yep.
Then I finally got my Ready to Die and got it back. But I think it was at that point that I realized like there's a big difference,
Yeah.
So I mean, with my son, it's the exact same thing. I probably only had to. I've spoken to him a handful of times about like, you need to deal with this with tact. Like you can't listen to this all the time. You can't listen to it in front of everybody because some people see it as disrespect.
Yeah.
You can't idolize the music either. Like you have to realize who you are and stand on your own two. If this is what you enjoy, this is what you enjoy. And I remember I probably had one conversation where he was listening to Triple X Excepcion.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to some lyrics, and I had the whole conversation of like, you can't. Like this was probably the first time I was like became like a father. I was like, yo, all right, we don't idolize suicidal things in the house. Like you have to understand, like this is music, this, that, and the other. And he understood. And we had the conversation, and I just thought to myself, all right, well, these are the conversations we have. So whenever he's in the car, half the time he's putting on music, and I enjoy it. So it's like, this is what I was doing growing up, and I want him to have that freedom to understand. Like, all right, this is what he likes, and cool. And it's cool that all right, I can enjoy it. He'll play a lot, and he listens to a lot of old stuff too. So I'm like, all right, cool, we there,
And they also is like you got to understand, like most of this music is fiction.
Right.
Like, and I think like that's the problem is like even like the best of it, even the stuff that's built like Beyonce's Lemonade is billed as like basically like her emotional state at that moment, written by 10 other writers. Like
exactly,
it's not. This ain't her diary. This is like her form of art to like encapsulate or capture parts of her feeling and her essence through other people. And some of the songs are just so dope, written by other people about other things, that she's able just to say, if I put this in a certain context, this is somewhere around what I was feeling. Like at the end of the day, it's still creation. It's still art. Even if it's a recreation, it's not a 100% accurate recreation. It's just still about a feeling and understanding, like, there are consequences to a lot of things. There's consequences to certain behaviors. There are things that happen to people who live a certain life, whether it's right or wrong, but there are things that happen. And listen.
Yeah.
Did you like the music video though?
I only watched it once.
It was cool. It was almost too much. It was almost too much. Like visually, it was like Wes Anderson made a music video with Cardi B with ass and titties. Like it's like I mean like it was so much. I don't get the Kylie whole situation but it was like cool. But it works for them because I understand like if they didn't go this far, the shock value wouldn't be there, and the uproar helps them. I'm pretty sure while everybody was uproar, now everybody's talking about it, including us. Everybody's streaming it, listening to the song. The song is whatever. It really ain't the best song ever. You know, this is my thing. I want vulgarity to be great.
Right.
And that's the thing that I think that R. Kelly did the best. His vulgarity was great.
He took it to a whole nother level.
To the whole nother level.
To
the whole nother level. To where he just slipped things out. Years later, I'm like, age ain't nothing but a number.
Right. That's what I was going to say until we figured out that he was talking about kids.
Yeah, this nigga was 27. What are you talking about, age? Okay, but I still, listen, I can't get R. Kelly songs out of my head. Listen, I don't. From beyond this bed of mine, I see ceiling fans with you on top of me. Like, this nigga got poetic with just looking up while Shorty's riding him. Now that is impressive vulgarity. Point being, Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B just make better raps. That's it. Just make better raps, and then most people will be behind you.
You know, I don't want to jump up in and cut this middle of the show real quick, but I have to say I am impressed with your T-shirt today, TLC.
Oh, you see that? You see that?
Yo, last week it was Biggie Smalls. Yo, all right. I see
this is Walmart, dog. This is Walmart.
Yeah.
I was in Walmart. I don't know what I was doing. I just said, let me see what they got over there. I started grabbing T-shirts. I was like, yo, $7, $8.
Corona prices. Corona prices.
Corona prices. I had to like, you know, when you pop the thing, I had to like get that Corona off. Just
yeah.
But yeah, so
where we at?
So besides Cardi B and that is a dynamic duo. But the next dynamic duo that's supposed to save the Democratic Party. Okay. Biden has chosen his VP.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
Kamala, the prosecutor, Harris.
Okay.
Listen, from the beginning, when she ran for president, all of the stuff was just stirring on about her and the potentiality of her being the president. What she did when she was in California as the top cop prosecutor, and some of the shaky things, even in context, were just really uncomfortable and cringy. But then when you put them in context of prosecutors, really not that bad. Like, I mean, if you put it in context of the game of prosecution, which is the problem, the game of prosecution and the game of the justice system, it's really horrible. But this was his pick. Everybody was saying, the black people were saying, you better pick a black woman. And they were talking about, you know, Kamala Harris, Stacey Abrams, Susan Rice. There were some other people. I mean, she's probably the most qualified out of all the picks. I mean, Susan Harris is up there, but the connection with Benghazi and all those things, that have just been playing right into the Republican playbook. Right. So I understand. Is this a good pick?
Honestly, I mean, I think he only had two choices. I think it was either her or Warren.
I think Warren was the right pick. I think Warren was the right pick. And I think there's two things that they were going for. I was listening to somebody else talk about it, and it made sense to me. Kamala Harris is the pick that Republicans can't attack on law and order.
Right.
They can't say that, oh, you know, he wants to defund. You have the prosecutor here. Like it
Right.
just fault your argument becomes flawed. Like you have the prosecutor and you got the crime bill guy. They're not weak on on law and order by any
Right.
means.
Right.
She was writing letters to people saying, "Send your kids to school, or I'm taking your ass to jail." But they can't go down that road.
Right.
Um, the virtue signaling of choosing a woman of color, Kamala Harris, the virtue
Right.
signaling of choosing a woman, historical moment, and potentially can go on to be the president,
Correct.
strong. Now, if they would have chose Warren, that would have been saying, "Hey, progressives, I'm moving in a
Right.
different direction." Progressive part, but is that the largest part of the Democratic Party? I don't know. I don't think
So
I know that we are progressives, but I
right.
don't
Right.
know if most of the Democratic Party is.
Well, so the two things that I think that they had to debate the entire time was whether or not they wanted to solidify swing states,
Mm,
or did they want to try to pull red states to become swing states? So, with people who aren't satisfied with Trump right now, could we get those states to vote for me and whoever's going to run on my ticket? You
got you.
know, and I mean, right now, I think the idea was if they solidify swing states, they have a better chance, and that was the choice. Because I don't think that a lot of the red states will vote for Harris either way. Does that make sense?
I think so too. I mean, that
Yeah.
makes complete sense to me. Um, I think people as in our age and our way of thinking, I think we forget about the older Democratic voters, the
Exactly.
older and white Democratic voters. We're still in a game where there's a ton of white people in the United States of America, 60-70% of the population. And, they feel comfortable probably with a person like Biden and a woman like Kamala Harris.
Right.
I think it's proven that a lot of Democratic voters don't really have a problem with a person of color being president or vice president. They're just looking for things that feel regular. They're looking
Right.
for things that
Agree
most
with their
people think
views.
that
Right.
policing in its current form works. Most people believe that,
Mm-hmm.
putting people into jail stops other people from committing crimes. Most people
Right.
believe those things. And if most
She's the
Democrats
pick.
wanted,
Right.
it would have been Bernie. If most
Right.
Democrats wanted progressive ideology, it would have been Bernie.
Right.
So I think we just got to take what. As I hate the fact that everybody is like, choose a lesser of two evils. Yes, I want lesser of two evils.
Right.
Do you want to get stabbed in the face once or 10? I want to get stabbed in the face neither. No, your choices are 1 or 10. Like that's the adult thing. This is when you're in the adult system, you have to think like these are real decisions I have to make. And when you're
Right.
faced with real decisions, it's like it's not going to always be nice. But
Exactly.
over here, we're proving 4 years in, there are things, there are deficiencies, and we're not liking the direction that this is going. It ain't got nothing to do with Republicans. This got to do with this particular president. So if you are not with the way that this is going, this ship is going, you gotta move to the other vessel.
Right.
And a little bit better is still better.
Better. Right.
A little bit more money is still more money. Like
That's I always tell people like the difference between being a child and being an adult is you have the difference between good and evil.
Yes,
But when you're an adult, the difference is that chances are you're gonna have two choices that are bad,
that's
and you
right.
just have to figure out which one is the best for you. And that's it.
Plus, I always want somebody who's open to being convinced of something.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm dealing with a brick wall and I can't change that, I don't want to deal with that. I rather deal with the person, even if I can't get the person that believes exactly what I believe, I rather get the person who at least believes science and believes results. If I can
Right.
get that person, then I can show them through science, results, information, and a whole number of other things that this is the way that we should be going. Plus,
Right.
I'd rather a person who was interested in furthering their career and potentially becoming president than a person who's going into their second term because they have nothing to lose at that point.
Right.
So with Kamala Harris coming on the ticket, she wants to be president at some point. The ambition of being president is now really in her sights. She may change some things. I don't know what's going to happen in either direction, but I'd rather go in the direction in which I may get the results that I want.
I feel you, because my big thing is they're always saying, "Oh, Biden has this history." Chances are I'd rather go with someone who has changed their stances because they've learned something easier than someone who has always been this one way and has never listened or never tried to reason on, right? So.
And I'm tired of us making like people like Biden out to be villains, as if the people in our community weren't believing the same shit that he was. Like, if you ask any minister of his age, if you ask any mother, father of his age what they believed at that time, or what they even believe now, will probably be less progressive than what he knows to be true now. So when that crime bill was written and when it was put into place, the NAACP was all over that shit. All of the churches were all down. They were like, let's get these drugs off the streets, put them in jail, lock away the key. All of that stuff, all of that punitive nature, our community was fine with. The results have shown something different, but the people of that time, a lot of them were fine with this shit. So I can't put him in a certain box and act like my grandmother probably thought the same thing that he did. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm not going to villainize her, I can't villainize him, even though he did write the bill, even though he did all those things. There were millions of people who believed the same shit. We are just living in a time, and we're growing in an age where we are able to see and analyze these results and see the effects of something that happened 20 years ago.
Right. On another note, did you pay attention to any of Andrew Yang's stuff this past week that went underneath the radar?
I watched the one with Galloway. I forgot his he's an NYU professor. Did you see that one?
Yeah,
Scott Galloway.
Yeah,
that was great.
But there was some stuff that they were talking about that they were setting up the whole DNC thing for I guess the campaigning and so on.
Okay.
But they didn't want Andrew Yang to speak.
Get out of here.
Yeah, but so many people had tweeted about it all week that they had put him on the ticket. So I guess he's going to end up speaking at a couple of these things.
Because he's talking money.
Right. Exactly.
People don't want him talking money, giving money, passing money to other people. It's like that is the big thing. That is the big thing. And that's literally, I hate the term, but it is on both sides. There's money interests that are playing on both sides. And sometimes they're the same people who are just playing both sides of the coin.
Right.
But yeah, Kamala Harris is in, and
she's it.
November is it. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it happens in November. But this is something I had wanted to talk about because it had been on my head. I wrote it down as defunding the police in connection with the murders. So I was arguing with this dude that I went to high school with on Facebook. That's normally how my life be going. But my wife be like, "You arguing with somebody again?" So he's a police officer or a correction officer. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because people becoming correction officers and they be thinking that they the law. And it be like the same life they living. But it's like you're not living the same life. It's like,
right.
But there was an uptick in murders in New York City. There's uptick in murders in Chicago. There's uptick in murders and they say crime. So many different urban populations.
Right.
And so everybody shouting from the hill, see y'all, see what happens with defunding the police. And I'm like, well, okay, pause for a second. Ain't shit been defunded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't shit be defunded.
Nothing happened, yeah.
The niggas still got tanks. Like, I'm watching it in Portland. Like, if the okay, let's say Chicago murders is so crazy. Take them tanks from the niggas in Portland and send them to the niggas in Chicago. Because if the tanks is what they need, they don't need it over there because Portland is just, arguing and burning up shit. The tanks ain't going to help. But if it's going to stop some Chicago shit, they don't need more money. They just need to ship the shit over. They can prime it. Like Amazon can come and prime the tanks over.
Prime delivery
to Chicago because nothing has changed. New York City hasn't changed, but the argument is the police officers know that if they just do something wrong, they're going to jail and their career is destroyed. Then I'm like, hold on, look, you mean like the killers of Breonna Taylor? Oh, sorry, they're not arrested yet. You mean Derek Chauvin, the one who all your whole cases go out the door. People time and time again have gotten off on all this shit. More people have gotten off in history, and small percentages have actually received any type of punishment. The guy who shot up the dude in his car, what was his name? I forgot the officer's name, but he shot the dude with his the child in the back and the wife in the car. Yeah. He worked at a school. He got off. So like all of this is fear tactics. And I'm like, are these fear tactics connected? Are they just using what potentially could be an uptick in violence to spew more fear about how we shouldn't get rid of our jobs because we're scared now? So like, what's going to change? What like, you already have immunity. Like what do we need to make you feel safer to do your job again?
Tanks,
right? Tanks. But then I'm like, is this coincidental or is this orchestrated? Because like, we know Chicago has a crime problem, and it has a problem with gang violence. But to think that the gang members were watching CNN and were like, oh, they defunding the police, let me go kill some more people. Like, no, it hasn't changed.
It's crazy because upticks in violence or violent-related crimes have more to do with poverty and the decrease of the economy than it has to do with anything police-related. But I mean, who am I to say anything like this?
See, this is why you're not supposed to have books. This is why you're not supposed to have books. See, a brother like you, who they let read, is the problem. You've read things and you learn, because it's like, causation is not correlation. So, so people talking about defund the police. The criminals didn't just go out and commit more crimes. Maybe everybody's been home because this virus has kept people home. And yes, and that has some effect on people's mentality and increasing the amount of people who are consistently around you. And yes, there may be an uptick in violence. All these people who are speaking about these things are not experts in any of these studies.
Right.
None of them are sociologists or psychologists. I don't want to hear from you police officers.
Right.
I don't want to hear from the police chief. Get me a sociologist that is able to study and say, okay, well, this happened in communities consistently. When we were in this recession, there was an uptick in violence. When we were in this situation, there was an uptick in violence. Like, psychologists, tell me something about criminology and how criminals behave in certain situations. All of those things are more important than your feelings about, I can't do my policing. I'm worried about slamming a man's face against the wall. Like think about what you're saying. Like, I can't do it the way I need to do it. No, you're supposed to do it the way the law said. And if the law changes, that's the way you're supposed to do it. That's it.
My biggest problem is that defund, like, we're extremists in everything that we say and do.
Yeah.
And people are not going to pay attention. If we're talking about defunding the police, chances are the last thing that's going to be defunded is the salaries of the policemen. We are talking about all the extra stuff that you need. Look, having one more tank isn't going to lead. Is not going to decrease the 20 arrests on the corner. No. Like, we're talking about, all right, we're going to make sure that we're going to reallocate these funds to make sure that you're trained properly. and make
Yes.
sure that you're dealing with the community properly.
Yes.
And I'm almost certain that has a better chance of decreasing the violent acts that you're worried about more than, we got 5 more tanks,
Yes.
we got much more stuff. You're probably using, in some cities, you're using SWAT 100 times less
Yes.
than you. For what reason are we making sure that they got extra stuff?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Like, and this is the whole thing. When whoever it is, spokesperson for the police or whatever, you're like, oh, we're talking about defunding the police. Well, yeah, I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
You've got all these people standing behind you. Maybe we should look. If we're so worried about it, maybe we should hire more policemen so there is less stress. I'd
Oh.
rather reallocate the funds that way.
But see, and this is the part. Like, we know what defund the police means,
Right.
and we know what most people really want when they say defund the police. And some people really do mean abolish the police.
Right.
I don't think that abolishing the police is a bad idea
Mm-hmm.
in regards of, if policing is doing their job that you say is supposed to do, which is get rid of crime. When crime goes, what's your plan? To keep all the same police officers doing nothing?
Right.
No. So we need to remove the situations that create the crime, whether that's through policing or through social
Community
programs,
activities.
community activities, and then we won't need as many police. So yes, you defund the things that you don't need that much of.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, the studies have shown that policing doesn't make the community safer.
Right.
You doing all this extra shit, doing drug busts, like, most of people are in jail for nonviolent drug offenses.
Mm-hmm.
My first step, before we say defund the police, because what they're going to talk about is their arrest. You need to remove their ability to arrest for certain things. Decriminalize drugs. And then you have a bigger case. Because once you decriminalize drugs and they can't go after that, then it just shows that their job wasn't being even allocated in the right way. Decriminalize drugs and then take them off of giving traffic tickets. I don't think they should be the ones who are out there. First of all, we got too much technology. You got a whole license plate.
Mm-hmm.
We have red light cams now, so that means they don't even need to have stopped you to
Mm-hmm.
give you the ticket.
Correct.
So you can give the ticket to whether I receive the ticket in my hand or not, you're going to say it's me, so it's connected to my license plate, believe it or not. So therefore, we don't need you out there with your gun patrolling the highways for that reason. You could be on the highway so you can have great access to get on and off to get to whatever situations are happening. But remove that. The meter maids is already doing the parking stuff, so we don't need you doing that stuff. That's it. That's over. That's done with. You take those two things out, parking tickets, a lot of people won't even be going to jail, because some people be going to jail just because they have outstanding tickets.
Right.
2, you decriminalize marijuana and then remove cash bail. You remove all that shit, recidivism goes down. Most people aren't actually going into jail. Now we got all these police officers standing by. Why do we need SWAT?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need the strong of a SWAT. Reallocate those people to working on high crime situations, murder, rape, all these different things. And then we're looking at the numbers. Oh, in our staff, we probably got like 20,000 extra officers that we don't need. All right, so we build new departments. You still want to work for the city? This is what you're going to do. PAL is its own thing. All these things is its own thing. We can reallocate within the system and move them around in different ways. But it's not going to be in the way that you like, head busting and bothering people just because of a certain clothes that they have on. You assume they have drugs. We leaving that shit alone.
What's one thought that I started having is in a 4 or 5 day work week in which police have is making 1 or 2 of those days being community stuff, like
That's
where they can't even work. You know what I mean?
Work.
Where you have to do the community center stuff. You have to be integral into part of the community that you're policing.
That's right.
Agreed.
And if you have a problem with that, if any union has a problem with that, fuck off. Like, just straight up. Like, if you have a problem with your officers connecting with the community, you need to be gone.
Yeah,
Gone.
don't tell me that you're part of the community and
Gone.
that, you know, no.
We need people, listen, we need people to step into these positions of power, in these mayor positions, and say, I'm not scared of these police officers or these police unions. I don't give a rat's ass. And we need someone to be able to articulate why it's important that the people dictate what the police officers are doing and not the police union. I got so mad. I watched this. Did you watch the Joe Rogan interview yet?
No, I didn't. I
You
didn't
gotta
finish it.
watch it. It's almost 3 hours. These guys work
Okay.
for the Innocence Project, and one is a lawyer, and the other dude is like a dude in the music industry that just uses his funds and his levies his connections with people to bring them into the Innocence Project. And they were just breaking down facts and some information about people who are on death row, people who are spending whole life in imprisonment, and getting off. One of the problems is things that you and I may know mentally. Hey, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who haven't done these crimes who are in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the proven facts of the amount of people who have been exonerated and were in jail all this time. And the number one thing that gets in the way of getting these people free are prosecutors.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecutors only care about winning. And that's the number one game we have to change. We have an issue that has infected America where you're not considered worth anything if you don't win. And
Right.
that is the problem. And that's one of the things, like, I go back and forth with the participation trophy. And I think one of the problems is it's bad on both ways. When you think kids shouldn't get trophies for participating, you're misunderstanding the fact that they need to know that working hard and not winning, working hard is still something special. You
Right.
know, the most improved is still something special. Everybody's not going to win, but you should be recognized for what you did. Not the
Mm-hmm.
same, but for what you did. And that mentality moves over into prosecutors because if they don't win, they're not considered anything. So they're going to fight tooth and nail. Who cares about whether the person is guilty or innocent? I need to win, and I'm going to prove that I need to win with technicalities. And it's sickening, the technicalities and the hiding of evidence and the immunity that they have, these judges and these prosecutors. For what? You're hiding evidence? Like,
Right.
you should be so into, you don't need immunity if you plan to do everything right. We're supposed to
Right.
believe that prosecutors and judges and police officers are going to do the right thing. So you're the least person who needs immunity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need it. But this immunity is allowing these prosecutors to put people in jail, win these cases so they can go on and have illustrious careers and destroy lives, but they face no consequences at all. And this is the constant game that we're seeing. These people are putting people in jail. That is the win. If you're a prosecutor and you don't put enough people in jail, you're considered a failure. And somehow you're keeping the streets safer. And you're not, because they're putting the wrong people behind bars. They're putting
Did I,
them behind bars for too much time. And it's crazy.
did I tell you before my idea about what we should do about state officers and prosecution and defense attorneys?
Nah, go.
We should make it all public, where defense attorneys have the same access to the same resources that prosecutors have, and we make it
Mm,
a public thing where it's not, who you can hire, because now you're having the same two people,
yeah,
and we make the same person who's a prosecutor to also be a defense attorney, make defense attorneys also be prosecutors, because now they have to work both sides of the case. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yep.
And just make it so that it's all for that, and the case being closed or something like that, or case being solved, has nothing to do with um, who's winning or who's not winning, but rather getting it done right so that
Getting
we
it
know
done
where to
right.
go forward from here.
Getting it done right. That's the sad thing, is that money skews morality.
Mm-hmm.
And just like when we're kids, people cheat in card games, and those cheaters move on, and then some of the cheating has higher stakes. If I cheat you in the game of Connect Four, nothing really happens to you. But if I cheat you in the court of law, your life could be destroyed, and so many families have been destroyed by prosecutors. That's why I mean I have a crazy concept, but I thought about writing this book. Winners will destroy the world, and like people have this noble idea of what winning is, and I think to most people, winning just means defeating someone else. But winning is really about getting down to what's right. Winning is really about morality. Winning is really about people being whole and our society being whole. But that's not what we look at as winning in our society. Winning means destroying someone else. But yeah, it got heavy. It got heavy. It got heavy. But that's what we do here. That's what we do. This was a good episode.
Sure was.
I'm No Justin No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And we are the Loose Cannons Podcast because we sit down and we fire off our opinions on today's pop culture.
What else?
Politics.
What else?
Movies and TV and how they all intersect. And oh baby, did we have a good episode today. This was 62. And later this week, we're going to have episode 63. Woo. We're finishing our Safdie Brothers review. Good time.
Okay. Good time.
And heaven knows what.
Okay.
Hope you guys watched it. Check it out later this week. We out.
Peace.